I'd like to touch on this margin, 10.6%, and it's down from 14.6%. In fact, we saw all divisions of the company coming under pressure on the margin front. What is attributed to this? And again, I mean, you're still sitting in double digits, far better than a lot of the other construction companies.
Yeah, it's down, but it's not dire. It's down for one reason. The road space attracted a lot of competition, post World Cup. It's coming through in the numbers now. One needs to have some big projects or some competitor attrition, which we've started seeing signs of, but still some time to go till we believe the margins will tick up. But as you rightly say, 10% is better than nil.
What's the highest margin that you've actually seen at Raubex?
Well, the absolute highest in the boom periods leading into the World Cup was closer to 20%.
So basically halved, at this stage. Let's just touch on some of the divisions as well, and I'd like to touch on Raubex. We've actually seen pressure coming through there. I mean, operating margins down to 9.1%, and that's from almost 14%, sitting at 13.8%. So we saw negativity through there. Can those margins be recovered going forward?
Yes, I do believe so. Raubex had a bit of a impact from the competitive landscape on one front, but the bitumen shortages in the country hurt during October, November quite severely.
And are you mitigating risk through importation as well of certain products?
Yeah, we're importing, and we'll continue doing that post the winter when we need some more again. Storage is a bit of a problem, but we are trying to mitigate some of that risk.
Okay, Raubex construction, again, I mean, just reiterating this, the margin story, 8% from almost 14% as well. Your order book is looking at, satisfactory levels. But what kind of margins are we going to see in that order book?
Yeah, the order book is running at the margins we've just reported, so we don't expect any uptick in those margins, but we think the decline is done.
Would you say that, is there increased competition, dramatic, an increase in competition that forces you to bring down margins so dramatically, or are you just absorbing costs? What exactly is the reason?
It's a combination of both, as we've touched on the bitumen thing, but there is a lot more competitors out there. Construction side, we've had some problems in the Free State, which has impacted the numbers and the margins negatively, and we're hoping to have that resolved fairly shortly. But as I said, until we have some competitor attrition, margins will be under pressure.
Revenue collection, government contracts, is that a concern?
Yeah, we're fine. We're getting our money everywhere, barring an investigation in the Free State.
Tell us about that Free State revenue. Is that a concern going forward, and what is the exact amount? No,
it's a couple of $100 million that's outstanding there. We haven't disclosed the exact numbers. It's not all accounted for, but it's the government is doing a value for money investigation there on all the contractors involved. We've stopped work until the investigation is complete. We're cautiously optimistic that it's not going to be a problem, but we're in their hands to wait for them to finish. A
couple of years ago, a market getting very excited about a roads contract in Namibia. I know that you're also dabbling in Zimbabwe as well. Let's just look at Raubex, because again, pretty much the same story, where we see profit margins down from 17% to around 15.5%, Francois. So are we going to see more of a focus going through outside of South Africa? Is that where the higher margins are? Or would you say it's a mixture of South Africa?
Yeah, that's been the highlight for us. Our international work has been good. It's grown well. Margins are better there than they are in South Africa at the moment. We, as you rightfully say, in a couple of different countries in Africa, and we believe that's where the growth is. We believe in Africa on the long term, slow and steady, but it's working and it continues to work.
And satisfactory results coming through from Zambia as well.
Yeah.
Are you going to maintain in those territories, Zambia, Namibia and Zimbabwe?
And Malawi, we're currently in as well. We've tendered in Uganda and one or two other countries. So, Africa is our long-term plan.
It's interesting you say Malawi. We know that there was a 50% currency devaluation in that country. Is this going to affect Raubex in any way?
Well, we're paid in euros, so I'm not sure what's worse. But but the truth is, no, we have a currency hedge there, so we're okay.
Okay, so let's also touch on, our prospects going forward. Let's take a look at the Sanral drama, and we're talking about it off air. How does this change the game for roads and expansion projects going forward in Gauteng? We know that Sanral and the government has actually stopped various new phases coming to the fore. Is this going to affect any contracts going forward for Raubex?
No, in our view, tolling is probably not going to happen in the short term. I'm not talking the roads that are built, but any new toll roads. Yeah. So we've assumed that's the GFIP2s that were once upon a time spoken about. Our presumption is they're not going to happen.
Had that really been in discussion with you for the second phase?
Well, there was some design work that started taking place a year or so ago, but at that time when the tolling debacle started, our presumption was these things were probably at best going to be put on ice for a while. We stand by that. You know, one needs to see where things go with SANRAL and the rest of government in terms of their policy around tolling before we get excited about tolling.
Would you be focusing on other provinces then when it comes to road?
We are everywhere. So the fact that, you know, if some tolling doesn't take place in Gauteng on second phases, you know, obviously in the perfect world we'd love, you know, to build roads all day long.
Had you already factored in, you know, the good news from second and third phases?
No.
Tell us about which sector you're going to be focusing on. You know, are you going to be focusing on Raubex construction more so than the road side of things for you going forward? Where do you see the most growth? Where do you anticipate the most growth?
No, I think it's across the spectrum. Our mining work, our construction work, and our maintenance and asphalt work. But where we're seeing growth is outside of South Africa. You know, South Africa, we see a sort of steady state for a while to come. But outside, expanding that geography and expanding our footprint, that's where the growth will come from.